Got it. Oh boy.
Да, слышно хорошо.
So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let's get started on the quiz, shall we? So this is emptiness. I'm sorry. This is early for me. That's one thing. But really, this is about interlude on emptiness. And our fourth class. Can you see my screen?
Perfectly.
Great. So we're on this pretty much the exact same topic we've been on all term, which is about K-J telling us at the beginning of term that there are basically two types of emptiness to things in the mind-only school. And most people think only of the first one, which is that there's no outside object. But there's this second one, and this is the one we've been talking about. So we are continuing now to be quizzed on it. What is this statement a typical example of? Blue, the starting of blue, the staying of blue, and the ending of blue.
Life cycle of an instance of blue.
Your answer is a correct statement, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. When this is given as an example, when we're speaking of the more subtle form of the emptiness of things in the mind-only school, what might this be the example? How would this example be used?
These are the features or the characteristics of blue?
That's half of it. Yay. What's the first part? There's, it would be this, I'm sorry?
Oh, the essence and the characteristics?
Yes. Thank you. Can you give me your answer in Tibetan, please?
Oh, Ngodang Kepa?
As a complete sentence.
Oh.
This is an example. This is a typical example of essential nature and various features.
No, yeah. I mean, the Ngodang Kepa Yin. It's not. Yeah, I don't know.
That's really close.
Sure, it is. Shaky bay. Oh, these are examples.
A typical example, yeah.
Which they share.
These are the typical examples. Or this is the typical example.
Oh.
Okay.
Pei Tunmong means
if I'm using the
typical.
right word for typical. Tunmong.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Great. What question? No. Yeah. Sorry, I need coffee. I really need coffee.
Great.
Cheers.
What question is this the answer to? You will never be able to understand, even in the slightest, the mind-only system in its entirety, the four total knowledges or the four approaches, or how to apply the concept that everything is only in your mind, or detailed explanations of the perfection of wisdom sutras, such as the 10 wrong ideas of distraction and how to deal with it. What would the question be?
Whoa. Roxana's got a shot.
I can't see the chat.
She said,
She
what
said,
would
what
happen?
happened? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Sorry,
Stanley.
What would happen if you fail to understand the way in which you connect the qualities to the object?
Yay!
Whoa.
Hey.
Very good. Thank you.
Whoa.
What question does the following answer? Sending on Nimepa and Kuntak. Not and, just
The two
sending
kind
on
of
Nimepa
emptiness?
Kuntak. I'm sorry?
Two kinds of emptiness?
No,
Ah,
these are both positive things.
Oh,
but it's not MEPA, the absence of an essence on names
yeah, one is not a positive.
or signs.
This was sort of, I'm sorry, this is maybe a trick question. It was something that Geshe-la mentioned as an aside
Oh.
in our last class.
The question isn't what was something that
And it's
Geshe-la mentioned
from,
as an aside from our last class, right?
that would be a I would accept that one. It's also the phrase that Lord Buddha uses is on the left, and what word he does not use on the right in the sutra. What I really meant when he talks about the first of the three attributes of what would become the mind-only school. So they're equivalents.
Oh, wow.
Cool. I think that's in course 15, just like that too.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be my guess too. Because I don't have memory at this time in the morning.
Me neither.
So now I'm going to give either an English phrase or a Tibetan phrase and ask you to give me the equivalent in the other language. Even the slightest bit. I'm looking for the Tibetan here, just in case you want.
중체점,
Sorry, I'm sorry, say again.
중체점,
Can be.
Chatsam-yang.
Chatamyang. Oh, oh, sure. Okay, not even a bit, not even a part. Cool.
Mm.
implied,
Mhm.
Good.
implication.
Well, how we used it, yeah, there you go, by implication.
Yeah, right.
And lastly, the English is horrid, right? Conceptualize a mental image.
Conceptualize image.
Uh-huh. Is it like Kunta? Oh,
Dartak.
Dartak. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay, thank you very much.
Emptiness.
Blue.
Blue.
Oh, no.
And now I'm going to, I want to apologize in advance for subjecting anyone to whatever pain may be about to occur. Okay,
All right.
so the
kids.
first one, Gakchagang kakne, dakme namparn jokpe, gakchai, dak tane do yang shima duke, kyaparn de pala dakme, kelempe nangpe jukta mawata daktino.
Okay. Generally, it's quite good, especially the fact. No, especially the fact that you caught that it's referring to the last sentence is especially good. This is a belief shared by all Buddhist philosophical schools that is through the lack of nature. That's really good, and that's the hard part here. You got to draw a better connection, even if it's artificial. Nobody got it.
Oh, no.
Oh, right. No, I got it. Well,
Okay.
Which is
So the first line says this, what gakcha you have to gak in order to arrive at Dakme. Okay, that's the key.
Okay.
You see? Got it? What gakcha do you have to gak in order to arrive at Dakme? Okay. And that the nature of that gakcha dak, or the self nature, which is that gakcha, okay, can never exist, even nominally.
So where do we see can never? Can never.
Madrup, yeah, Madrup, Shimadrup.
Okay. So I can say things like can or can't.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
Madru.
yeah. Just to make
Okay,
the English
cool.
flow. Yeah. The key is that first part that you just typed. Okay. So all of the Buddhist schools agree that there's something you have to cancel in order to arrive at emptiness.
Yes.
That's all. And all of the Buddhist schools also believe that the self nature, which you deny, can never exist in the slightest. Okay, that's all.
Yeah. Okay. And then
yeah, go ahead.
then what was it?
This number jokpa means
Jokpa.
this number jokpa means in order to arrive at.
Okay.
Yeah, in order to establish, if you want to say that. Yeah.
Cool.
So the gakcha you have to deny in order to arrive at emptiness. It's a nice reminder that we arrive at Yongdrup by canceling kuntak with regard to Shenrongs.
Cool.
Okay, that's the point here. Yeah. Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah, this is brutal.
Yeah.
Suksok ngo dang kewa sok ke partu ming dang dar takpa sam rang kitseniki drupadang suksok nam ngo dang ke partu dokpe shen shiyin pa rang kitseniki drupa gokpa min mi ni do de way suksok dreje ja yimpata suksok takpe shinyu yimpa rangpitseni ki drupa kakne chi sendundu patang min driwe kepar lekpar chene ngowo dang kepar du ming dang dre shak su dang de rangpitseni ki drupar nang su dang Tokpe shen shi dun jitar yimpa sok siksam tu malupar sen shi lekpar ngu simpa shik gu so.
Wow. Okay, good. Let's go to the last sentence and okay. At least you should be able to describe in words, meaning even if you don't understand it in your mind, okay? So Siksamtu, at least you should be able to describe in words if you want to really understand these points. Samtu, Malupar, all of these ideas of senshi. What's senshi means what relative to senyi?
Example?
The examples.
Yeah, it's the real example of a definition. So you give a definition and you give a typical example, okay? Lepa ngosumba means what? What's ngunzin?
Ngunzin was...
Yeah, to identify. Shik guso. you gotta be a person, shigoso, who has identified very clearly in your own mind, and in their entirety, the typical examples of what it is we're denying, right? The gakcha, okay? And that's, at least you should be able to say it in words, even if you don't understand exactly what you're saying. Okay, Tsiksamdu, you should be able in words.
So-
Malupa means every one of these examples. And he's giving,
Everyone, okay,
Go ahead.
referring to the ones he just gave.
yeah, and I don't know, we could count them or we could number them, just between every dung. There's 1, 2.
Oh, and he's been talking about it for all term as well.
5, he gave 5, okay? He says if you can't even describe these 5 verbally, then you don't understand these schools, okay? Something like that, okay? And you want to, let's go through the 5, right? Suksok Ngol Kyawaso. How many you got here? Oh, yeah, okay. Suksok Ngol Dan Kyawaso Kepa Du Ming Dan Dar Tak Pat Sam. So the belief that things like physical stuff has its own nature, and it has features such as starting, right?
Yeah.
Good. The fact that physical stuff, starting with physical stuff, it has a nature, its own main nature, and then it has these features such as starting. Okay, to believe that those things, which are only creations of names and thoughts, okay, those, to believe that the connection between them, which is actually only exists in name and thoughts, to believe that connection exists by definition, right? Okay, that's his first example. Okay, this is his first senshi of what doesn't really exist, gakja. Okay, the fact that the connection exists from its own side. Okay, so we understand that one, right? We're okay with that one. Okay, we know from the last sentence that this is the gakcha, that once you gak it, you can arrive at no self-nature. Okay, that we understand that much. Now, how about the second one? Suksong nam ngona kebru dope shenshi yembaran kitseni kitupa kopani. Suksong nam, physical matter, physical things, etc., which are actually just when their nature and the connection between their nature and their features is just a creation, which is labeled or put on it by the mind, by our mistaken mind, dokpa, right? Shenchi yimba, that is what we're that's what we believe in. Remember Shenyu from yesterday?
Yeah.
It's kind of similar. That's what we having our wrong belief about. Okay, Shenchi yimba, the Rangitsenike Drupa. We believe that connection, which is actually a creation of your thoughts, exists by nature. Rangitsenike Drupa Gopani, and denying that connection. And by the way, do de wa is an acceptable dhamka. Okay, you can say do de pa or do de wa, because there's a rule that.
Oh, wait, before we go on to sutras,
Okay.
Could you tell me what I heard you say is that these two things are the same?
I don't know yet. We didn't finish yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I doubt
Dodepas.
they do refer to the same general principle, but from a different viewpoint, I think. Dope Shenji in Barangitsani Drupa Gopani, Do Dewe, Suksok Drai, Joja Yimba. This describes how things like physical stuff, etc., constitute what words refer to. Okay, what the things which words refer to. Dai Joja. Okay, so what do words refer to? Words refer to the idea that we create a connection between the main thing and its qualities, okay? And we believe in it. We believe in that connection, Shenshi Yimba. And we believe that's natural. Rankitenik Drupa. Gopani, do dewe sukso dai joja yimba dang. Okay, that's their idea of the way that physical things are the objects of names. Okay, so that's a second concept. Okay, that's a second concept. What was the first concept? Was that the connection is natural. Okay, and the second concept is that that physical stuff is what we're thinking about when we make up these connections. Okay, Gopani, Suksodai Jojai Yimbadang. Okay, third concept, Suksok Takbe Shenyo Yimbaranki Drupa. The fact that hang on. Physical things, etc. This has got to be Tokpe. Okay, this is a misspelling, which makes it very difficult. Okay, Suksok Tok should be Suksok Tok. Okay.
I did look at the carving and it's correct because it
Really?
did not make sense to me either.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it wasn't miscarved. It was also sock, not so.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, oh, that can't be correct. Yeah.
but yeah.
It's got to be Tokpe. Because form and other things are what our wrong belief has a belief in, right? We talked about Shenyu yesterday, right?
Yeah.
How we take the object and how we think it really is, okay? Like when we see a mirage, the Shenyu is what?
Shenyu is water.
Water, real water, okay? Suksok Tokpe Shenyu Yimba, Rangi Tsenika Drupa, Gakne. Does that exist by nature? Gakne, Chitsen du Duba Damendawe Kepa Nekpa Chene. Chitsen means that general archetype, right? Hang on, it could be Takpa. Hang on.
Yeah, I saw some instance of talk as being like some form of consciousness, some form of mental
I gotta think about
activity.
it, but Chitsens are Takpa.
Yeah, right. Especially in this school.
Yeah, so the mental picture of
Oh yeah.
of a coffee cup is Takpa. I'm not sure yet. Because if it was Takpa, it should be Shenyu Takpa. They should have put the adjective after Shenyu. You see what I mean?
And you don't take it even when you see a mental image in your mind that is unchanging in this school. I don't think you take it as unchanging.
Right. That's true too. So it's got to be Tokpa. That's a good point. What Ben just said is Shenyu means what we think we see.
Yes.
And it implies that it might be wrong, like the water in a mirage. So what Ben is saying is that we don't normally, we're not aware that we're dealing with mental images that are unchanging, okay? That's not what we take it as, Shenyu, okay?
Right.
But let's think about it. So ttps Shenyu Yimba, Rangi Tsenike Tupa Kakne, Chi Center Dubba, Chi Center Dubba the Mendawe Kepa. What this says is, it's not a similar distinction to what happens when we understand that something is a chitsen. Okay. So who believes that, whose big thing is it that the quality of a thing is a chitsen?
The sutras.
Yeah, that's a second school thing, right? Means what we're talking about in this paragraph is different from the idea in the which school that says
In
that
the mind-only school.
Yeah, so we are making distinctions, we are making distinctions which are dissimilar from the beliefs that that we're dealing with archetypes when we look at things, okay? Who believes that?
I'm sorry, who believes that we're looking at
Who believes
archetypes
that
when we look at things?
Yeah,
Sutrists.
yeah, Dodewa, okay, Dodewa. So what he's saying is that the belief that we're talking about here in the mind-only school, the deeper belief, which is the lack of self-existence to things, is you can kind of feel how it is developing out of the idea that when you look at a car, you're really dealing with an unchanging archetype in your mind. Okay, that's a second school thing. And this is Mindawa. Mindawa means you got to be able to draw a distinction. Kepa, lekpa, chene. You have to see the difference between the realization of the second school, that when you look at a microphone, you're dealing with a mental image in your mind of a microphone, and the deeper emptiness understanding of this mind-only school, that the connection between the microphone and its color, for example, is natural, okay? Is actually created by names and ideas, names and concepts, okay? Cool. So he says, if you claim to really understand the mind-only school, you have to understand how the connection between the microphone and its color is artificial, and it's only a creation of names and mental images, okay? It's not natural. And I think what he's saying here is, you also have to appreciate how that developed out of the lower school idea that when you look at the microphone, your mind is actually focusing on an unchanging mental archetype. He wants us, what he's saying in this paragraph is, if you really want to understand the mind-only school, if you really want to understand the three characteristics of the mind-only school, if you really want to understand the third turning of the wheel, then you should appreciate that it's different from the distinctions drawn by the second school. But it has come out of those distinctions. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it's a refinement of those ideas.
And if you don't appreciate the mind-only school as a refinement of the second school, then you don't really understand the mind-only school. That's what he's trying to make points like that. He's trying to point out subtleties that if you don't understand them, if you can't name all these examples, senshi, then you don't really understand the mind-only school and the three characteristics. Let's go to the last one here. Nekpachine. That's a joke. Okay, here. Chitsen to Duba Damindawa. look, this mind-only school is not similar to the Sutra school belief in an unchanging mental archetype. You better be able to distinguish the mind-only position from the Sutra's position. What's the mind-only position? That the connection between the object and its characteristics is just nominal and a creation of your concepts, okay? There's a big joke here in $300. Jigme tells me I'm running out of money, but I'm up for it.
The joke
There's a big joke. in
somewhere
this sentence.
here.
No, I'm gonna say, let's say from Chichen to Dupa, between Chichen to Dupa and Mingdang De Shaktsu. The next line, these two lines. Yeah, there's a big joke there. Come on, guys.
He makes a reference to the
Has
third turning
something
of the
to
wheel.
do with
Say it again, word. I hate you.
He's making a reference to the third turning of the wheel,
Why?
because that is the turning of the wheel where there was fine distinctions made.
Good. Whether purposely or whether because he's immersed in these topics, he has pulled out the name of the third turning of the wheel here, which is unusual. So the wording is unusual. If he uses it, it's probably on purpose, okay? You have to make fine distinctions between what word?
Between the three senis.
Nah, I mean, in this
No.
case, it's parallel.
In this
case.
case, between the way that the dodepas are.
In this
Good.
case, between the Sutra school and the mind-only school.
Yeah, good. How they describe emptiness, right? Because he just went in the last paragraph, he just said, everybody's got to have a gakja. Everybody's got to have a gakja. Okay, good. So you got to understand that distinction. You further have to understand how just this piece, very short. This one's easy. Please, what do you think, Utpala?
the way they appear to exist. The way they appear is to exist by definition.
What's the day refer to?
The long kipar.
Yeah, the connection between the object and its features, okay? That appears, you got to understand, if you're really going to understand all this stuff, you got to understand why and how it even appears to you that that connection is natural. Okay, if you say you really want to study the mind-only school, then and you want to understand the deeper kind of emptiness of the mind school, if you're not satisfied with blue is outside my mind or not, then you have to understand how the connection between the microphone and its color, or its starting, appears nangso, how it appears to us to exist naturally, and it's not a philosophical question. It's a day-to-day thing. You know, someone irritates you on the road, on the drive to the college, right? Which happens every day. And then you automatically assume that they're, I want to use a bad word, Ben, but the fact that they're a bad driver is something natural to them and is not coming from my seat. The connection between their driving and them, the connection between how they drive and the driver, I automatically take it to be natural, and then it upsets me. And then I want to show special hands mudras to them. And I do sometimes. And my wife gets really disappointed in me. Like, didn't you hear anything you taught this morning? Okay, so the connection between the bad driver, the driver and how they're driving around me appears to be appears to me to be natural. Okay, and not something I created. Okay, good. So that was not so hard. what is that? Dope she did. What is it that the object, which is the shen? What's the connection between the word she and you?
Between she and you.
She and you. Between those two words, what's the connection?
Well, and maybe it's referring to the you. The she is referring to the you as the
Adam,
basis.
yeah, they are synonyms. Adam can tell us. She, you, she drew, namsha,
Okay.
yupa. Okay, shelja.
Oh, I thought you meant in the sentence. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The ontological status of what we think we see when we this topa means have a wrong idea, right? Just what is it that we think we see when we're thinking wrong is tope shenshi den jitayimba. Okay, just what is it that we think we see when we are thinking wrong? Okay, okay, like that driver's driving comes from him or her. Okay, okay.
No, I don't understand how to translate those words, as I don't see what is it we think we see.
The last
is that what jitar is?
What way?
Yeah, the last topic, senshi lekpa no simba. You can say here almost the important topics for this subject. Okay, senshi means the important topics for this subject. The last one is just how is it? Just how do we describe that thing which we think we see? Okay, just how do we describe that thing which we think we see? Okay, which we believe in, shen yu. Okay, that's the last thing that you guys should, if you're able to describe these 5, I think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, if you're able to describe these 5 topics clearly, then we can say you really understand these schools, especially the mind-only school.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I must not then.
Well, I think all of us are not 100% clear on it, but he doesn't. He just wants us to be sensitive to the fact that until you're clear on it, you don't really grasp these schools as deeply as you could.
In at least a broad brush, at least, could you help us to see what is the distinction that he's trying to get us to understand between these two schools?
Yeah, I personally, I would go this way.
It's this, right?
Say again?
It's the cheetah?
Yeah, I think that's the key one here. I think that's the key one. Don't forget, so far, he's been criticizing the shallower mind-only guys.
Right.
Just hung up on the blue. So far, he's been kind of criticizing them. Now he's saying, can we appreciate how Buddha in his 4.5 schools, he went from the 2nd school to the 3rd school. And I think if you meditate, if we all meditate on the difference between the 2nd and the 3rd school, we'll get to where he wants us to go. In the 2nd school, you are unconsciously, unaware, using mental image to identify things like car. And those mental images are unchanging pictures in your mind that have been there for time with no beginning. And when you think you're looking at a car, you're actually looking at a mental image in your mind. That's 2nd school. 3rd school, and then when you see quality, my car is blue, thanks to Nick. My car has a pretty color. Nick, I saw another car yesterday with the same color. I think they stole it.
Impossible.
They were parked at the Hilton. So anyway, then if you think the connection between your car and its color is natural, I think why he's doing this to us in this impossible paragraph, but which we probably should have split into 5 or 6 parts. He wants us to appreciate how you go from understanding that the car is an unchanging mental image, and in fact, the result of canceling everything, it's not, okay? Which, by the way, if you're interested in the second school, is called Nangyu. Nangyu. That's the object as it's truly appearing to you, but you don't understand. Okay. That the archetype of the car appearing to you is the Nangyu. How you take it is different. You know, Sungyu or Shenyu. But that's another story. So trying to go from the important ideas of the Sutra school and then graduate to the connection between the thing and its qualities is, I think that's what he's talking about here. Yeah.
So he's not disagreeing with the sutras. He's just saying that
Well,
what mind only school is dealing with has
Yeah,
more to do
he
with
doesn't
it's more to do with the
exactly-
connection.
Yeah, he just says here, we are making a distinction that they don't make. He doesn't say we are denying them. Yeah.
Oh,
like
no, because you just got finished saying they all believe the same thing. And
Yeah,
but
good.
it
Well,
seems
no.
like mind only makes finer distinctions, as Word said.
What he said in section 258 is a very profound thing. He says, all Buddhist schools which believe in any kind of emptiness believe that you have to cancel something which is not really there to arrive at emptiness. That's a profound statement. All Buddhist schools that believe in any kind of emptiness or selflessness, they believe we're seeing something that's not really there. We have a mental picture of something that's not really there. And if we can cancel that bad picture, we will arrive at emptiness. They all agree on the process. They don't agree on what's the gaksha, okay? But they all agree on the process, that you have to identify the gaksha, you have to cancel it, and then you have to arrive at emptiness. They all agree on the process. They just disagree on what's the goddamn gaksha, you know, okay? It's very interesting. That's 258. 258 is, man, you should carve that on a piece of wood and hang it at your house or something. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna do that.
Yeah. And then a whole 259 is like, well, here's how the deeper mind only guys distinguish the gaksha from the way the sutras do it. For example, yeah.
And Geshe-la, just to bring it full circle and simply put, he's saying about the connection. I mean, the main thing, distinction that he's making about that connection is that the connection is also coming from your mind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Dartak here. Dartak Patsam. It's only creation of names. Yeah, and it's only a creation of names and mental images. That I believe the bad driving of the drivers is their bad driving is, yeah, that's a creation of my mental pictures. Yeah.
So they would both believe that an unchanging mental image is being applied, but the implication is that maybe the sutrists would accept that the object somehow deserves that name.
Yeah, I'll take you to a nice place. And I enjoy doing this, and I really enjoy this group of people, and God bless all of you.
But it would be
nice
more like they would agree that the name doesn't necessarily belong, but gosh, the some of those features sure do, right?
Hang on. there's two kinds of kuntak in the mind-only school. Tell
Yeah.
me.
There are names like Ben applied to body and mind, but then there's the idea that the name belongs on that body and mind.
Yeah, good. So can we say that all kuntaks in the mind-only school don't exist?
No,
we can't say that all of them don't exist.
Yeah, you can call Ben Ben, and that's
Right.
that nominee. That's using names.
Right.
So, yeah, that's the answer to the question you just asked me. Yeah. That sometimes kuntak means imaginary, wrong thing, doesn't exist. The connection between black and microphone, the natural connection between black and microphone is kuntak. It's a creation of my mind. But also when I name people names, or sorry, when I use an unchanging mental image to perceive something, that's also kuntak.
The process that's actually happening.
Yeah, and that's acceptable. And so that part of the Sutra school is quite acceptable to the mind-only school. Yeah. So the mind-only school has simply gone deeper. Okay. Yeah. I used to get confused that all kuntaks in the mind-only school had to be not existing. But there are some ways of naming things or using names or mental pictures to think of things which are valid. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not mepa, they're just kunzo.
Yeah, they're artificial, but they exist. That's the point. Some artificial things exist, some artificial things don't exist. The artificial natural relation between the microphone and its color doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But
the relationship between it exists. That's kind of what you're saying.
But the artificial, but the artificial relationship between the picture of a car in my mind and my car, that's okay. That one exists. Right. Yeah.
Or you could say all the kuntaks exist, but they don't all have like referent objects. You do have the idea of a connection between the name and the thing that gets named.
Yeah, even a wrong idea exists. Yeah, you could say that. Wow, we're actually Earl, Bernie, everything reminds you of a Zappa song. Ayah. I used to have trouble with Frank Zappa. I remember because he was so cool, but the music was pretty bad. Okay. Anyway, here we go. Zong Sapa. Are you ready? Let's go back to this text. Boy, that was a hard. I can't believe a teacher would give you that paragraph.
Oh, then you should meet my teacher.
Okay. I didn't write these sentences. I mean, don't blame me.
I know. I did. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, you made the connection in the sentence. Hang on. Okay. All right. Let's see. Nick, will you check? Are we on 260, Utpala?
260.
Okay, hang on. Cursor. Hang on 1 second. Okay, good. Daeyoung.
Daeyoung suksok ngawatang keparki tane ki shi ngay yimpani mingkang dre shakpat sam yinma. Suksok ngawatang keparki tane ki shi yimpar tse me kyang drup merki siksok ngawatang keparki tane ki shir rangi tsene ki drupa tane to yang me pe de tar drupar nangwa dak nangwa tar tanye to yang drup pa kekpa tang de tar drupar shen pe shen sul tar tane duang drupa kek so
Yeah, there's a nasty mistake here.
Yeah, I
That's
looked at the
really-
carving and that's what it says.
It does. It should be soup. Okay.
The carving has some weird errors in it.
Yeah, I think we should fire the guy.
No.
Would it generally not make sense to have a verb in that place anyway after a key like that?
The expression suksok, the word can check, but I bet it occurs 10,000 times in the database. And the expression siksok, I bet it doesn't happen once. So you just get a feeling for it, Nick. Yeah. And I should have caught it before. I don't know why I didn't catch it. And here it is up here in the first line, for example. So they are suksok. Suksok is a device in scripture to refer to everything in the universe.
Right. All the things you see and everything else.
Yeah, the coffee cup on your table, on up. Okay, so everything in the universe is the she. Okay, it is the sen she, right? What are the things that we can point to as typical examples of this problem that we have of naturally connecting the features of the object with the object? Okay, what objects should we use to have this discussion? And he says, everything in the universe. Okay. All right. They are the place, ne, or the foundation for this idea, or this expression, tani. Okay. This expression of the thing itself and its features. Okay. What things in the universe are we thinking about when we talk about the idea, quote, main thing and its features, okay? And then he says, suksok, okay? Everything in the universe, okay? Now, those things which in the mind-only school, we think about as possessing their characteristics naturally, okay? How are those things established?
Ming Dang
Names
Dui
and
Shang
terms.
Ba.
Yeah, they are just creations of the pictures coming out of our karmic seeds, da. Okay, they are just creations of the pictures coming out of our karmic seeds, da. Who says that?
Mind only.
And the middle way.
Yeah, that's the way.
And
That's
middle way, sorry.
yeah. So now,
But he's
God,
been
where's
saying
the
this
point?
all along.
Yeah.
He said it just above.
Yeah, by the way, he has dawdled. I like dawdled. Jigme tells me how to say dawdle.
Yeah,
but
dwaddle's
it
not a
sounds-
word, but we can make it one.
But it sounds dorkier if you say dwaddle.
Yeah, it does.
He's been dawdling in the mind-only school for a couple of terms now. He was supposed to be giving us an overview of the different schools' ideas on emptiness. And he just got stuck in the mind-only school for page after page after page. But is he breaking out finally to the fourth school? All right. He says,
I'm not holding my breath.
me neither. Me neither. I agree with you. So, he says, let's think about the objects that the mind-only school deep guys believe don't have their characteristics naturally. When you think about it, those objects which don't have their features naturally themselves exist through names and mental images. Okay. Now, why he throws that in here, we're going to have to see.
We've got 1 minute, Geshe.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of hope he's setting up to change to the middle way school. but I don't know if I don't trust it either. Utpa. Okay. At Sayin la Susong Northern Kipik Taniki Shi Yimba. Same Kyang. This is same. I think. Same
Yeah.
can do. Yeah, do means look, we can all establish that physical stuff is we can all perceive that it's what we're talking about when we talk about the thing and its features. Okay, we can all see that that's what we're talking about. We can all perceive the microphone with our tema, with our accurate perception. And we can all agree that the microphone itself is established by our accurate perceptions. Okay, key, agreed, but okay, key is always like we're all on track, but key, but Susang Mono Taniki share Ranki Seniki Dupa. Do they do they exist as the object of names by nature? Okay, are they the Gakja by nature? That isn't true even nominally. Okay. It is, yeah, okay. Is the fact that we're talking about the microphone as our example when we want to talk about the natural connection between an object and its features is as what we're talking about, does it exist by definition? We are trying to find objects in the world to talk about when we want to talk about the connection between an object and its features, okay? But those objects that we choose, like the microphone, how much natural existence do they have to start with? Forget the connection between the microphone and its color. If we just, when we look at the microphone, to think about its connection to its color, are we seeing something naturally? And he says, no. Okay,
Good.
We're not. Okay, Tanya maybe data dupa, but it seems like they do. Data dupa nawa Tanya dupa kekpa. They don't even exist nominally in the way they seem to. Okay, kekpa dan. Data dupa shenbi shensu. And if you think that we have chosen the microphone and that we're choosing a thing naturally, then you better cancel that shemba, that belief. Okay, so why did we take the microphone as an example of the main thing and its features and the connection between the thing and its features? What did we take as the example? The microphone. The fact that we took that microphone, does that exist by definition?
Nope.
And then he says, no. Well, do you think we took the microphone naturally?
Yep.
Yeah, we do. But when you take the microphone to discuss the connection between the microphone and its black, even if you don't get to the connection and you just take the microphone, you're already misunderstanding it. How's that? Okay. Let's talk about the microphone. Let's talk about the connection between the microphone and its. Shut up. You already made a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, here I go. Let's talk about the microphone and its. Wait, you already made a mistake. You already have a shemba, a wrong shemba when you think of microphone. And the microphone you're thinking of when you start your conversation, Tanya Doang Drup, it doesn't even exist nominally.
I
Yeah,
thought only.
We're
The
well
microphone-
over time.
one more sentence. The microphone that pops into your mind when you start a conversation between the microphone and its color, and how natural is that connection, the microphone that pops into your mind is already the gotcha.
Okay.
This is, and I hope he's going to use that as a springboard to the middle way. But
Sure. Sounds like one.
I wish it was. Okay, very cool. Very
Oh,
hard
that makes
stuff.
us think you've checked that and know that it's not.
So just so I'm clear, this is still K through J presenting the mind-only position.
Yeah, but he's, I think he's setting up to move to the middle way school. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for a wonderful term, Geshe-la.
Yeah, and it was a hard one, but I think we did okay. I feel better about it. I feel better about it. I wasn't clear how he was moving from the three qualities of the mind-only school to this connection thing. And I think it's clearer now. And by the way, I'll tell you something. In a class in the monastery, it's an accepted principle that if it's deep stuff, you're not going to understand it the first or second or third time you hear it. It's just considered normal. That if you're not supposed to take an exam after the last class of the course and get 100. If you do, there's something wrong with the class. You know, there's this Western idea of education that you learn it for 6 weeks and then you can get 100 on the exam, but that's never going to happen with this stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, we've planted seeds in this class, and this stuff, the stuff we're about to do in Gibson's class seemed impossible to you about 20 years ago. And now it's very comfortable. There's no surprises at all in the Gibson's class for you. But can you put your mind back 20 years ago? And that basic Lam Rim stuff was so weird. Okay. And maybe there'll be a day when you look back on this and say, oh yeah, that's easy. Yeah.
Oh, I hope.
Yeah, and I hope it comes really soon.
No, I don't know. I mean, maybe enjoy the process, you know, just enjoy the process. If your mind is being stretched, the mixed nuts is doing what it's supposed to do.
Yay.
Yay, mixed nuts.
Yeah, confusion.
Yeah, you want easy stuff, don't come to the mixed nuts.
Right.
This is accelerated. Okay, I'm sorry, Nick, I went over. Let's stop and let's give everybody a 3-minute break.
Okay.
All right.
Gibson, get that quiz ready.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Thanks for translating, you guys. Thank you, Catherine. I'm looking at you. Thank you, Roxana. Thank you, Marina, for setting this up.